Good morning, students. Let us continue the next part of the lesson, abolition of Jamindari system. Already we discussed in the previous class who are called Jamindars. So Jamindar means who are having thousands of acres of land in their control. Those are called Jamindars. So to redistribute the lands to the poor peasants, the government passed the abolition of Jamindari Act in the year 1950, and they took over the lands from the Jamindars and redistributed to the people, poor people. And even in Telangana also, so many acts were passed in 1921. Before independence also, there was a law relating to Jamindari system. Okay. Next, that was not implemented properly. Next, in Hyderabad, the Tenants Act was passed in 1950. Okay. So, next, later, that 1950 Act was amended in 1954. Okay. So, even though there was no limit on the land holdings, so that's why, as there was no limit on land holding, thousands of acres of fertile land also remained with them as Kudkusht land. Already we discussed about Kudkusht land. Kudkusht land means the land which is cultivated by Jamindars with the help of sharecroppers or laborers. So that is called the Kudkusht land. Next, due to the delay in the implementation, the large landlords used the situation to their best advantage. So they utilized the loopholes in the Tenancy Act, and the Jamindars tried to regain control over the lands from the tenants. So already previously they had given lands to tenants on lease. When the act was passed, so the tenants were evicted and the lands were declared as Kudkusht lands. Okay, next. So the Jamindars after abolition continued as a big landlords, claiming the land as their own. So these lands were diverted to set up industries. So agricultural lands were diverted as industrial lands. For example, the Charlapalli Jamindar showed 2,650 acres under his sugar factory. So all the agricultural lands were converted into factory lands. Okay, like that they try to protect their lands and they try to continued their control over the lands by using the loopholes in the Jamindari Abolition Act. So at the time in Telangana, one movement was started that is called Bhudan movement. That was started by Acharya Vinoba Bhave. So you can see here the first person is the Acharya Vinoba Bhave. So in Telangana also so many agitations raised at the time for lands. So to solve this problem peacefully, Sarvodaya leader Acharya Vinoba Bhave started this Bhudan movement. What is the meaning of Bhudan movement? Bhudan means donating land to the landless. So he encouraged landlords donate their lands to the landless people. He wanted to take voluntary gifts of land from the landlords and donate it to the landless. On April 18th, 1951, Vinoba Bhave started the Bhudan movement. So it was one of the milestone in the history of land reforms. So Vinoba Bhave started his movement from Sivarampalli near Hyderabad. He walked up to Pochampalli in Nalgonda district. Already you know the Pochampalli, that was the that is famous for ikat saris. Okay, next. A prayer meeting was held under the Javi tree near the tank in Pochampalli. In that meeting, 40 families belonging to the scheduled castes requested for land. Means they don't have a land. During the meeting, Vedire Ramchandra Reddy, so one of the Jamindar or landlord, donated 250 acres of land in the memory of his father. Means he is having more lands. The first person to receive the land was Maishaya. So here Maishaya photo also given, but that is not clear. Okay, so the middle person is the Vedire Ramchandra Reddy, who donated the land in that meeting. Inspired by this, Vinobaji took up Bhudan movement and later converted into Gram Dan movement. Vinobaji received 44 lakh acres of land as donation all over the country. So that much excess land was there in the hands of Jamindars. Those were donated. However, this movement did not make any serious difference to the land problems in the country, as landlords continued to hold large tracts of fertile land. So landlords were donated only wastelands in this movement. They hold large tracts of fertile land only. Clear? So like that, Acharya Vinoba started Bhudan movement in our Telangana, and he achieved the movement. Next, Land Ceiling Act 1970-1975. So to overcome the problems in Tenancy Act or Jamindari Abolition Act, so again government implemented Land Ceiling Act 1970-75. So the Jamindari abolition did not solve the problem of land concentration. So most of the lands were continued under control of Jamindars. So later, in 1955-56, after completion of land reforms, more than 80% peasant families had less than 2 hectares of land. That is not sufficient to lead their life. So here one table given here, you can observe. So in 1955-56, after implementing the Land Reforms Act, so small farmers, so who are having 0 to 2 hectares of land, means 5 acres of land, they are having land holdings 58%. 58% of people are having only 2 hectares of land. Share in the cultivated area, only total land, only 80% of total land is having holding by 58% of small farmers. Clear? Total 18% of cultivated land is having 58% of small farmers. Next, medium farmers means who are having 2 to 10 hectares. 10 hectares means 25 acres. So 32% of medium farmers are having 44% of cultivated land. So when you observe, 58% are having only 18% of land, but 32% of medium farmers are having 44% of cultivated land. When you go to another section, large farmers who are having above 10 hectares of land. So how many are there? Only 10% people are there who are having 10 hectares of land, but they hold 35% of total cultivated land. So much difference is there when you compare with the small farmers and large farmers. Farmers are more, they are having hold only less percentage of land to cultivate. But here the large farmers are less, but they are having more cultivated land. So again, in the year 1918 to 81, the situation is same but little bit different. So in this time, 73% of small peasants. Okay? Here the small farmers are increased and a little bit cultivated area also increased 29%, and the medium farmers reduced to 25%, but land holding is increased. Here in 1955-56, 32% medium farmers were there. In their hand, 44% of land was there. But here the number of medium farmers are reduced, but the land holding is increased. Next, and the third category, the large farmers also reduced 10% to 2%, and 50% of 19% of land. And when you compare with 55-56, they are having 38%. Now 19% land held by large farmers. And again in the year 2005 and 6, the small farmers are increased. So in the year 55-56, 58%, because of land reforms, because of redistribution, because of land ceiling act. So the small farmers are increased. So 73%, now they increased up to 83%, but the cultivated land is 48% only. The total cultivated land 48% distributed to 83% of small farmers. Next, medium, and here when you compare with 55-56, the medium farmers are reduced or decreased, but they are having more lands. And large farmers also reduced to 1%, but they are holding 6% of cultivated land in their hands. Okay, so when you compare these three groups, so small farmers are more 83%, but they are having very less cultivated land in their hands, but medium and small large farmers are less, but they are holding 54, nearly 52% of land in their hands. Okay, so not only in our state, this situation was similar all over the country, So even after the second phase of land reforms, the situation was same, but the small farmers were increased. So land ceiling act was passed in most states for this purpose after 1972. So the land ceiling act was passed by the then Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council in September 1972, which came into implementation since January 1975. So what is the meaning of land ceiling act? So they implemented the limit on the holding of land by the farmers. That is the meaning of Land Ceiling Act. As per the Land Ceiling Act, a family with 5 members, including children, as a unit, considered as a family. So a family of 5 members can have a maximum of 10 to 27 acres of irrigated land, means fertile land. They can have 10 to 27, maximum 27 acres of land, irrigated land, and 35 to 54 acres of dry land. So totally, when you add both the irrigated land and the dry land, 27 plus 54. So every family can hold 81 acres of land according to the Land Ceiling Act. So your family means with 5 members. So they can have total 81 acres of land. In that, up to 27 acres irrigated land and 54 dry land they can hold. So more than that, if any farmer having more than 81 acres of land, that should be declared as surplus land. If any person is having 200 acres, 200 minus 81, so 119 acres declared as the surplus land. Okay, more than 81 acres. If any farmer or any person having more than 81 acres, that land should be declared as surplus land that should be taken by the government. In Telangana and Andhra Pradesh together, about 8 lakhs acres were declared surplus after passing the Land Ceiling Act in 1975. So 8 lakh acres were declared surplus. So out of this, 641 acres were taken over by the government, and it distributed about 5,82,000 acres to about 40,000 families. So total declared 8 lakh acres as surplus. So out of that, 6,41 acres of land taken by the government. In that, 5,82,000 acres of land distributed to 5,40,000 families, means every family got 1 acre of land in land reforms or distribution of lands. So actually this was much less than what was required and what was possible. So much land was there, actually surplus land was there, but only 8 lakhs were declared as surplus. So that is not sufficient to redistribute to the lands to the small peasants or landless people. So the act could not be implemented properly due to the some mechanism and lack of sufficient political determination on the part of the government. At the time of government as well as political leaders also not showed more interest on this act. Okay, so by using the loopholes in this act, several landlords gave false declaration to the officers and did not reveal the real size of their excess land. They never declared their excess land. And what they did, they had given false declarations. They are having only less land, like that. Anticipating the act, several landlords transferred their lands on the names of their relatives, friends and servants. And those were taken fictitious divorce from their family members in law courts and showed husband and wife as separate families. When they are having a separate families, they can hold more land each family. That's why they were taken divorce from their family members to hold the control on the lands. Okay, so even some farmers who had surplus land as per the act protected their lands and did not show any surplus. So, but some surplus land was taken over by the government, was not fit for cultivation. So, already who declared surplus lands? Those were not fit for cultivation. So, they declared wastelands as surplus lands. So, already we discussed in the table 2005-6, 83% of small and farmers, and they have nearly half of the all cultivated land. On the other hand, you will see that the number of large landlords, that is 1%, and the land with them is 6%. So one of the state in which the Land Ceiling Act was more effectively implemented was West Bengal. So after Land Ceiling Act, they implemented very properly. The West Bengal government acted with great determination and mobilized the landless and small peasants to participate in the implementation of the ceiling laws. As a result, about 12,94 lakh acres of land were taken over by the government, and 10,64,000 acres were distributed to about 26,51,000 families. How much land they distributed? 10,64,000 acres. To whom? How many people? 26 lakhs. So more than the half percentage. Double. So means more landless people were there in West Bengal. So they received less than 1 acre. The small farmers or peasants or landless people got less than 1 acre of land in the redistribution of lands. Okay, so like this, the Land Ceiling Act or the abolition of Jamindari Act or Tenant Act was not implemented properly. When you compare now also so many families are having more than the 81 acres of land. So to continue the control over the agricultural lands, so they are converting those agricultural lands into the commercial lands. So in case of commercial lands, people can hold more than 81 acres of land by each family. Okay, so this is the information about abolition of Jamindari system in our country. So with this lesson is completed. Write the important points, send to me. Thank you.